G'day, in this video I'm going to be going over the Felco 7 secateurs. These are not my secateurs, these are a friend's secateurs. She lent them to me to do a review on them, so we'll get straight into it. Firstly, this Felco 7 secateurs are from the Ergonomic range of Felco secateurs, or Pruners. Now that depends on how you were taught onto what you're going to call them, secateurs or Pruners. Both terms work equally as well. Yes, they're from the Ergonomic range of Felco, and these ones are unique because they have a rolling handle. As you can see, it rolls around. So it's got the rolling handle, and this is designed so that it's less stress on you when you're using them for longer periods of time. So the theory is that you can cut larger pieces of wood with it, up to 25 millimeters, with relatively ease, I suppose you'd call it. Now these are more so designed for larger hands, and I think I've got relatively small hands, so these aren't my preferred secateurs, but they do work. One of the things is with them is with smaller hands you probably feel like you're gonna slip them out of your hand. The rolling handle is free moving, it doesn't have a spring or anything else like that, so it actually moves. When your hand moves, it moves, and it doesn't roll back into place. When you're using it, it actually rolls with your fingers and then rolls back out again as you release it. So as you close it, it rolls, and then as you release it, it moves back again into place. So I suppose it gives less pressure on the hand at the end of the day, which would work all the way up your hand. Since your secateurs are an extension of your hand for use of cutting, it would make it easier, especially further up your arm. I find that your wrist and your fingers, more so your wrist, can end up hurting quite a bit when you use them for long periods of time. So if you're out there and winter time pruning your roses, pruning vines, that sort of thing, especially when you're doing them like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, that sort of thing, it can, your wrist can certainly get sore doing a lot of pruning, so you have to be a bit careful. So I find that, because these are an extension of your hand and the rolling action, it doesn't put as much pressure on your hand and on your wrist and further up on your elbow, so it makes it a lot easier to actually cut for longer periods of time. Yeah, so that's the rolling handle. As I said, it doesn't spring back into action. It does move with your fingers a lot. Again, with all Felco secateurs, it's got the parts that you can interchange. You can undo the screws, you can replace the spring. The blades you can replace. This one looks like it could do with a replacement. It looks like it's got a fair bit of wear actually. Yeah, and that's the Felco 7 secateurs. So as you can see, it's got the ergonomic design again, where you can hold it quite easily with your hand. Again, it's supposed to be designed for an extension of your arm. So they're the Felco 7 secateurs. Yeah, unique design. To be honest, when I first picked them up, I thought that the handle would just spring back into place, but it doesn't. You actually have to move it to move it back into place where you need it. Yeah, so that's the Felco 7 secateurs. So I have my Felco 8 secateurs that you've seen before in another video. You can see they're pretty much the same sort of design if I line them up together. So you can see that they're pretty much the same in that design there. The only difference would be is that this one has the thicker rolling handle. And then if we just compare them to the Felco 2s, so you can see the Felco 2s, see if we can show both ways, but you can see that these ones, the blade sort of goes up. It's more of the classic design, your old-fashioned sort of design of just normal pruners. Okay, so price-wise, all Felco secateurs are pretty much around the same price. So these are, not much different to a pair of Felco 2s or Felco 8s. So they're all pretty much price comparative. It just depends what you prefer. So I think that we all have favourite tools, And as a gardener, the secateurs would have to come in as one of the favourite tools that you would have, and everyone's got a preference for what they would generally use. And because you're probably going to use them for a lifetime, you want something that you're comfortable with and you like working with. Yeah, like I said, I've used my Felco 8 secateurs in the vineyards. That was, yeah, I think 3 months full-on pruning vines, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, that sort of thing. So these have cut a lot of wood, as well as I've also done a lot of rose pruning. So it's one of my favourite things to do is rose pruning. But yeah, I don't mind the vines either, they were quite good. Let me just get a bit of wood and I'll show you an example of cutting it and why I understand that they're for larger hands and stuff like that. So my hands, like I said, are quite small, but if you've got a larger pair of hands and you're using these for long periods of time, I think it works well. So we've got an oversized bit of apricot branch here, and the thickest part all the way down here is exactly 2.5 centimeters. This one's a lot smaller, it's probably just over 1 centimeter, but we'll cut it. So it takes a little bit of effort to cut. We'll cut another one. Obviously the smaller ones are going to be easier to cut than the bigger. So again, that's probably about just over 1 centimeter. It really does take a little bit of effort for me to cut with it. So I don't think that without sort of cutting it, that I would be able to cut that. Just saying that my hands, they're stretched at the moment, and you see my thumb doesn't get around it enough to be able to hold it, so it is designed for bigger hands. So that's my review on the Felco 7 secateurs. Again, I think they're designed more for larger hands. They cut up to 25 millimeters and they're about the same price as the other Felco secateurs. Please give us a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We do like doing the reviews of the gardening tools, so if you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.